Hello, welcome to the Literary and Jury Charge for the 80 class. We're going to start out with a selection from Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. This is on developing your compassion. Okay, ready? Nothing helps us build our perspective more than developing compassion for others. Compassion is a sympathetic feeling. It involves the willingness to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to take the focus off yourself and to imagine what it's like to be in someone else's predicament and simultaneously love for that person. It's the recognition that other people's problems, their pain and frustrations are every bit as real as our own, often far worse. In recognizing this fact and trying to offer some assistance, we open our own hearts and greatly enhance our sense of gratitude. Compassion is something you can develop with practice. It involves two things: intention and action. Intention simply means to remember to open your heart to others. You expand what and who matters from yourself and to other people. Action is the simply what you do about it. You might donate a little money or time or both on a regular basis to a cause near to your heart. Or perhaps you'll offer a beautiful smile and genuine hello to the people you meet on the street. It's not so important what you do, but just that you do something. As Mother Teresa reminds us, we cannot do great things on this earth. We can only do great things with great love. Compassion develops your sense of gratitude by taking your attention off all the little things that most of us have learned to take too seriously. When you take time often to reflect on the miracle of life, the miracle that you are even able to read this book, the gift of sight, of love, and all the rest, it can help to remind you that many of the things that you think of as big stuff are really just small stuff that you are turning into big stuff. Okay, I have some congressional record. This is on family rental tax. Okay, ready? Mr. Speaker, in the closing days of the 98th Congress, I would like to discuss a cruel and burdensome hardship that is about to fall on American families who rent an apartment, or a home to a family member. This burden is the family rental tax, which is a provision of the Internal Revenue Tax Code. In short, this tax disallows some of the normal deductions on rental property when the tenant is a relative. Today, I am reintroducing a bill which will put an end to the family rental tax. There is a potential harm with the family rental tax, even if the property is rented at full market value. This new tax would impose a strict penalty on the property owner. I believe the family rental tax is a step backward. We must continue to recognize the family unit as a primary source of support for all its members, and in particular, its older members. The bill that I have developed will correct the language of the code to more clearly show that Congress supports the limits on deductions on vacation rentals, but does not support the limits on principal residences. Part 1 would change the language of Section 5473D to allow the normal deductions with rental property when the taxpayer rents to a family member. Part 2 would change the language of Section 8399R of the Code to restrict the tax allowances for taxpayers who have vacation rental property that is not rented on a 12-month or yearly basis. We are fortunate because the Internal Revenue Service will not enforce the family rental tax in this tax year. I urgently encourage my distinguished colleagues, all taxpayers themselves, to consider this matter before the close of Congress. Okay, again, if you found that difficult, then you're going to want to write down those words that gave you a challenge so that you can go back and practice those. Okay. All right, so we're going to finish up the story from Jennifer Hudson. Okay, ready? That was how all of us felt in my family. My mother, my older brother, Jason, my older sister, Julia, and me. We had love, we had each other, and we had God at the center of our lives. Even after I grew up and my career took me far from Chicago, I'd still go back there. When I had my big audition for the Dream Girls, a huge opportunity, you know where I went? to pray the steps of the church where I'd been going since I was born, the church where I found my voice, or when I won the Academy Award for my role in Dreamgirls, or had my first solo album released, or got engaged to David. Who did I want to thank? God, first and foremost. Then the people He put in my life to support and inspire me, my family, and my church most of all. They'd given me all I needed to make my way. I try to remember them and honor them in everything I do, especially my grandmother, who believed the best way to show her gratitude to God for her beautiful singing voice was to use it to serve Him. My mother, who was utterly devoted to our family, my brother, who had such a generous spirit, he loved to barbecue, feeding the whole neighborhood, and my nephew, Julia's son, Julian King, who was all about education. He was so smart and did his homework without being told. He changed his own bedtime from 9 to 8 so he wouldn't be late for school. He had people call him Dr. King because he dreamed of being a doctor. Julia and I started the Julian D. King Gift Foundation to provide children positive experiences in his honor. Every August 14, Julian's birthday, we hold a Hatch Day, a name he came up with. We don't know how. He loved parties and would send out Hatch Day invites to family and friends. We celebrate his birthday by donating school supplies to thousands of kids in need. I think Julian would have been totally into getting kids as excited about school as he was. We hold an annual Christmas toy drive in his name too. Now, when Christmas comes, I want to do all the things I did growing up. Get the fireplace going, get our family together for a fish fry, gather around the piano and sing, and, of course, go to church for the Christmas play with all the children carrying candles down the aisle and everyone singing carols. There's something about or special about Christmas, about celebrating, a kind of beauty that brings people together, that heals the wounds only He can heal. I got that exact same feeling there in that historic church in Harlem while we were filming Fix Me, Jesus, sings the character I play. It's an outpouring of emotion we make when we're broken-hearted, when our spirits are as low as they can go. So she goes back to New York for the first time in years, reuniting with her parents and her son. What a celebration follows. The choir leaping to their feet and clapping and singing. At last she's back in the place that nourished her, that sustains her still. Church, the place I've always called home. That was the article from Jennifer Hudson. Okay, I've got some jury charge for you. The subject is sales warranty. Okay, you're going to hear burden of proof. Again, you can either write that B-U-R-P or just B-R-P. Obviously, if you write burp, then if burp ever comes up, you're going to have to flag it so it doesn't conflict. Defendant, D-E-F-T. Evidence, E-F-D. Plaintiff, P-L-F. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, L-long-A-J-S. If you just hear ladies and gentlemen, then that's just L-long-A-J. Okay, here we go. The burden of proof rests upon the defendant, ladies and gentlemen, to prove by the greater weight of the evidence that the property in question was in a damaged condition as claimed by him when the property was delivered to him, at which time the title passed from the plaintiff to the defendant. Any damage, of course, after such delivery, which was not due to any negligence or fault on the part of the plaintiff, could not be charged to the plaintiff upon a breach of warranty on the sale of personal property. The buyer has the right to recover for all damages which, in the contemplation of the parties, or according to the natural or usual course of things, may result from said such breach. The ordinary measure of damages is the difference between the actual value of the goods sold and what would have been their value if they had been as warranted. In this case, the defendant claims to have sustained such damages because of certain losses sustained by reason of plaintiff's breach of warranty, and in this claim it included profits or gains which he would have realized from the chickens purchased, that they had been in the condition as represented. He claims that because of his losses and the death of these chickens, such profits were denied to him. It is a law that where reasonable profits or gains are prevented and losses sustained because of a breach of warranty, and where the losses may be determined with reasonable certainty from the evidence, then such contemplated profits may be recovered by the buyer. However, such damages can be recovered only when capable of being ascertained with a certain degree of certainty, and which such profits are within the contemplation of the parties as a result of the breach of warranty. Okay, that concludes our literary and jury charge for the 80 class. Have a great day.